show you that right now. Hello everyone, welcome to the final round of the Swiss of Grand Prix Madison 2015. Rich Hagan, Randy Buehler with all the numbers that matter here in the final round. We are underway. One of these two will get to 13 wins and 2 losses, and we'll need to see whether that is enough to make them into the top 8 when the dancing stops. So Saito in with Sludge Crawler immediately on turn 2, 4-2, and gets to ingest a forest. Rosa, Forest and Mountain passes the turn back. Saito looking extremely colourless over there. Sludge Crawler will come in, but this time not for a second. 3 mana. Here's Dominator Drone. Yes, I have another colourless creature. You're at 15. And with another land, that's 6 damage potentially on the table. So Valakut Predator.
But it's only a 2/2 on defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, it does trade for the Dominator Drone, so that's that would be something. At that point, it might be Sludge Crawler, and if he's going to take 3, then Saito would have to spend all his mana, having laid a 4th land. So we'll see. He is going to offer the trade.
Yeah, you've got to.
Yeah, not least because there are, I guess, some tricks potentially up his sleeve, although not a lot for black.
Swamp, yeah.
Yeah. Valakut Predator says, I'm going to make you take most of your turn. Make a tempo play here from Paulo, essentially.
It's an interesting block from PV.
Yeah, and here's Mist Intruder to replace with the 2 spare mana for Saito. So the board is clear again on the Brazilian side of the board, looking at 4 points of damage currently. Here's Tunneling Geopede with Landfall. It's a 3/2, and whenever landfall happens, 1 damage to the opponent. So again, only 2 toughness. Saito will again offer a trade, and this time that does happen. So only 1 point through this time from the Mist Intruder. Both these players playing at substantial speed as Saito just readjusts his mana to spend 4 on Skitterskin. 4/3, can't block. As long as you have another colourless, you get to regenerate it with a little bit of mana investment.
No 4th land from Paulo last turn. He may be stuck on 3. I mean, I think Saito came out aggressively enough that he needed to trade anyway, but sort of all the more reason to try to trade and make the game go longer if you don't have lands to play.
Also in the feature match area, Jeremy Desani of France against Matt Severa of the United States, both on 36 points, trying to join the 39-point scrum. Jerry Thompson against John Graham, as we see Tajiri Stalwart as a 2/3 with Converge, just red and green mana on that. Saito wastes no time coming in with the Skitterskin and the Mist Intruder. More ingest, but more importantly, Paulo deep in trouble. Saito, with 2 cards left in hand, passes back. Is there a land there? There is. It's the 3rd colour, which would have made Tajiri Stalwart a little bit better had that been along for the ride.
Doesn't matter that much, though. I mean,
no,
still would have been, like, try to trade with Skitterskin and Saito just regenerates.
Yeah. Yes, the timeliness is more important than the absence of the colour. And he's going to run out on the Eldrazi Sky Spawner, except he is not, because you spell Shrivel, S-H-R-I-V-E-L, and those are what's happened to Paulo's hopes here in Game 1. Because Saito is piling in, and Rosa is down to 1. I'd like to attack you.
Well, he's not going to block.
Just make you write down 18. Saito looks 3. Ruination Guide. Thanks for playing.
Saito's deck looks great.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, Paulo did stumble a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it's not that hard to beat up on a mana-screwed opponent, but...
Right. The other match in the feature match area, by the way, Scott Markison against Magnus Lanto, Magic Online champion, of course, one of the competitors at the World Championship in Seattle a few weeks ago. But we are going to turn our attention to the next Pro Tour. Don't forget to join us for Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar as we head across town to Matt Severa against Jeremy Desani. Desani is on the right, and by the looks of things, under the gun, because Severa, yeah, as we said, look, there's Desani at 7 life and facing down an attack of Dominator Drone, Sludge Crawler, and Valakut Invoker, which Severa is a little way away from making live at 8 mana. He needs to activate that for 3 points of damage. But he also has Blighted Gorge in his land pile for a chance to deal 2, and he's got a Culling Drone which is staying back. Meanwhile, for Dizani, he's piecing together blocks. McKinney Patrol gets in the way of Valakut Invoker. It looks like he's putting Calastra Healer in the same place, and Courier Griffin looks to trade with the Dominator Drone right now. Dizani all tapped out, so Severo, we don't know what he's only got 1 card in hand, but we'll see whether that actually transpires to change the math. Doesn't look like it does, so Healer dies, Courier Griffin dies, Dominator Drone dies, Valakut Invoker dies, Sludge Crawler gets through, and then here is Mind Raker. So discard a card. It was a swamp.
It was the last card, though. Oh, no, not the last card.
1 card, 2 left. One of which is Hero of Goma Fada, giving creatures indestructible, but only when it arrives and when other allies arrive. So very much an aggressive card, not great on defense. So Dizani in trouble here in game number 1. Tomoharu Saito already 1-0 up. Some of the other matches, Randy, what else is people who are in the mix?
Well, we have one result already. Lucas Blowhan was paired down against Adam Jurczyk. So Blowhan on 36 can potentially, at 39, maybe he makes the top 8, maybe he doesn't. His tiebreakers are good, but not spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Blowhan got the scoop from Jurczyk because Jurczyk was already out of it on 34 points.
So just, good luck to you, my friend. Best of luck.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe he makes top 8, maybe he doesn't. He definitely gets a Pro Tour invite out of it.
Right, because it'll be the same points as the top 8.
13 and 2 is at least a Pro Tour invite.
Yep.
And probably a top 8.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucas Blowhan has joined the scrum, joining Paul Rietzel, who 39 with amazing tiebreakers. He's in even if he loses this round.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Pardee also already on 39. His tiebreakers are very, very good, but, I mean, they're only, like, 5th in the room, so you could imagine. Now, I got to feel like Pardee is in, even if he loses this round. Both Rietzel and Pardee could have drawn, except the only people to draw with are each other, and they've already played, so they both got paired down.
Right. And Pardee, I mean, you'd expect his tiebreaks to be good because he was the last undefeated player in the room.
Right, but I'm looking at it, and they're, like, 6 points behind Rietzel's. They're behind Lanto, Main, and Levy as well.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, you would expect them to be better than they actually are, which
right.
is why I'm like, I mean, he should be fine. But he would like to have drawn. Instead, he has to play Joe Lavrenz.
Okay.
Rietzel plays Andrew Main.
Mm-hmm.
John Graham plays Jerry Thompson in what's sure looks like a win and in, given that Jerry's breakers are pretty good.
And it's certainly a win for Graham, because he's on 37 points.
Right.
So his win is guaranteed, and indeed, very potentially top seed, although the fact that Rietzel and Sam Pardee are both playing suggests that even 40 points may not be enough. It's more likely to be a 42 as top seed. Why don't we get back to our first match, because we didn't get much time to see Paulo, Vitor, Damo, Rosa and Tomoharu Saito in action. Let's hope we do this time. Sludge Crawler is again in play for Tomoharu Saito on the left. Severo and Dizani still going on, of course, on the back table. We'll get that life bar changed for you as soon as we can. As we see Transgress the Mind from Tomoharu Saito, and he wants to take a look, and Paulo is busy writing down Paulo's hand so that he can say, this is what I know that you know. So we see an outnumber, and Paulo's not using names, he's just going, he knows I've got a 3-2. And I'm trying to read Paulo's handwriting there on the right, but Jujiro Warcaller, we can see Seek the Wilds, Valakut Predator, Outnumber, Island, and something very glarified. Can't identify the middle red card right now. Feel free if you can in the chat. Saito having a good think. You say transgress the mind, he had to do a lot of thinking about it. It was Tunneling Geopede, the card that had been glarified. Yeah, thanks guys in the chat. Boys and girls, appreciate that.
think I may have reported on the wrong Lucas, by the way. Both Lucas Blohan and Lucas Duco are in contention for this top 8 and contention for this Pro Tour invite.
Oh.
Adam Yurchik was paired against Lucas Duco, not Lucas Blohan.
Oh, right.
So it's Duco who I believe just picked up a Pro Tour invite.
Right. And
that's local hero
possibly
Lucas Duco from Wisconsin.
Huh.
In fact, Owen Turtenwald credits him for being the guy who taught Owen to actually play Magic well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duco was also at the Magic Online Championships this year.
So that would be a very sort of sleeper addition to the top 8, if you like.
With his breakers, though, Duco is in 17th right now.
So he's struggling.
He's rooting for Paul Rietzel. He's rooting for Sam Pardee.
Okay, sure.
He needs a lot of help. I'm not even sure it's possible to get from 17th to 8th.
But
he needs a lot of help.
Let's keep some 36s on 36 is his viewpoint.
That's what he needs.
Right. So a Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa here is being ingested, courtesy of Forest Island and Red Spell up there, top center. Tightening Coils has come down for Tomoharu Saito, taking out the Valakut Predator for a while, making it a very, very small Predator. Not a lot it can prey on, really, as a -4/2. Seek the Wilds from Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa, so he gets to have a look at the top 4, and I think that is a swing and a miss. He sought the Wilds. The Wilds were unavailable.
We're going to avoid spoiling the turbo match? Is that our plan?
Yes, that is our plan.
All right.
Yeah, don't tell him.
I won't tell you.
Don't tell him. Yeah, don't even tell me, because I'll just give it away. I'm terrible for things like that. There's Brood Hunter Worm.
The turbo match is the one between John Graham and Jerry Thompson.
Right.
For the record.
Where at least one of them is, where Graham is playing for certain for top 8, he'd go to 40.
And Jerry T's breakers are solid.
Right. So likely a win.
He's 7th now. You'd think from 7th with a win.
Sure.
Sorry, Jerry's 8th. You'd think from 8th with a win is good enough. But, I mean, it's at 69%, 69, 69, 68, 68, 67. It's
all very, very tight.
It's a scrum.
Which is what you want.
The top 8 announcement is going to be a sweat. That's all I'm saying. There's your Nation Guide.
Mm-hmm. So that Sludge Crawler is a little bit bigger without the investment of mana.
All right. Which means can no longer be blocked profitably.
Yeah.
Jerry T, I know, could very much use that Pro Tour invite too. This is
right.
He's no longer got any obligations. He no longer has to skip any events due to the time he spent at Wizards of the Coast. He was a gold pro, or maybe he was even platinum when he went in. So they granted him silver status on the way back out. So he started off with an invite in his pocket. But now, can he pick up another one at a Grand Prix? That's kind of how he gets his way back onto the train.
Mm-hmm.
Gets back up the Players Club, gets back onto the gravy train.
Brute Hunter Worm gets sent away as that Sludge Crawler comes through. Paulo gets to 5 mana. Will use 4 of it for the Brood Hunter Worm that he got off Seek the Wilds. And then, because he's got 2 creatures, he will do a little bit of outnumbering.
Mm-hmm.
So Ruination Guide is gone. Saito has this game to give. Paulo simply must win this game if we're going to see him in top 8 drafting action. Saito, of course, former Player of the Year.
Paulo never quite managed a POY year, did he? So many Pro Tour top 8s. It's a lot of top 8s to never win Player of the Year.
Yeah.
In fact, he probably has the record. Most Pro Tour top 8s without a Player of the Year title.
Yeah, that has to be true.
It's either him or Darwin. I'm not even sure which one of them has more.
Paulo has more.
Has like one more?
Darwin has 8, Paulo has 9, okay. I believe.
I thought Darwin had 9.
Yeah, in that case it's 9 and 10. Pretty sure Paulo has +1.
It's a lot of Pro Tour top 8s.
Really is. It's absurd.
And I mean, Apollo's been at the top level, at the sort of Platinum Pro equivalent, whatever that was called for each of those years.
Yes.
For basically all of the years in there, except maybe
Yeah,
the one.
Yeah.
Kind of nice to see him back at putting up results at that level again.
Yeah, very, very much back. And part of that, he was trying to run a degree course back in Brazil and, complete his studies. And, it's really hard when you take your eye off the ball. Paulo has 9 Pro Tour top 8s.
Do you Darwin Castle in your info guide?
Funnily enough, I do.
He is qualified for the Pro Tour.
Oh, yes.
An underdog to show up, but he shows up from time to time.
He does. He does. 8.
Okay.
Paulo 9, Darwin 8. Startling. Like I think most people playing Magic don't have like 9 PPTQ top 8s. Like, realistically. Or FNM wins.
Woodland Wanderer.
As 3, so it's a 5-5. McKinley Slide Runner as well for Paulo. Opposite the Sludge Crawler that's been there since the get-go, Incubator Drone, and a Scion. Ruin Processor, such a good card yesterday in Sealed. We've seen a lot less of it, not surprisingly, in Draft. And I didn't actually check in on Craig Wesco, who this morning I got to see his deck, and he was like a 6 Eldrazi deck. I know he lost his first round.
Right, he fell out of contention for top 8 immediately.
Yeah, because he was a 7-2 overnight. So I haven't really seen what impact the Eldrazi have had on Draft, whether they've been successful Eldrazi strategy, certainly in the televised drafts that we've done.
It's all been much more aggressive than that.
Right, it's been very back end, lots of cards going very, very late, and no real interest anywhere around the table. Maybe that'll recorrect itself just naturally within the flow of draft as people do it more.
Yeah, I feel like the jury's very much still out on what's good in this format. Like, you can build a great Devoid deck. You can also build a kind of crappy one.
I'll tell you what would help. If there was a Pro Tour next week and we could cover lots of draft rounds and lots of drafts and bring lots of the best players in the world to the video wall and do full draft viewers.
That's a good idea.
Let's do that.
I'm in.
Okay, done. You free Friday through Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I happen to be in town.
This seems perfect. And where are you at home that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just 5, 6, and 7 days from now? The answer should be right in front of your monitors and phones and 60-inch plasma TVs, enjoying Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. Join us. Both of these two will be there. And yes, with 3 rounds to go, 1,820 people in the tournament, 46 left in contention, over half playing in the Pro Tour next week. Magic, not altogether a game of luck.
Yeah, I recognize almost every name, and the 17 that are still in contention.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I could quote a result for like 13 of these guys.
Mm-hmm. And maybe in an hour's time, you'll be able to do it for all of them, because the unknowns, they all started with their first GP top 8 somewhere. They have a shot at it. So Paulo this time is very happy to just lose off a card that was already under the pump of the tightening coils to suck up a ton of damage from Rune Processor, because Processor is good, but it does not trample. So now here's Tajuru Warcaller, which means that the Woodland 5-5 is 7-7 right now.
Yep.
And I'll pop in, since I'm that big.
Warcaller's better when your opponent's not at 25?
Certainly.
It does hang around, though. Every future ally now has that mini overrun effect going for it.
Paulo passes 3 cards in hand. And end of turn, grave birthing.
Yeah.
So
Don't pick him up, Saito.
yeah, he doesn't need to do that because it's Paulo just
Paulo's
says,
choice.
I'm going to get rid of this island. Saito will get an Eldrazi Scion. He will get to cycle it, so he draws a card. And then he untaps and draws.
Back table, Scott Markison has won game 1 over Magnus Lanto.
Okay. Yeah, Scott's been at both Pod 1s today so far, looking to be in the last Pod 1 of the weekend. Just to be clear, because I imagine some of you are wondering, a draw for these players achieves really nothing. They would both go to 37 points, both be in the top 16, 25, somewhere in there. Yes, of course they're going to cash, but neither of these players is going to be the least bit interested in a drawn match.
You win less prize money than a win plus a draw. You get fewer pro points than a win plus a draw. I mean, a win plus a loss.
Ruin Processor, Sludge Crawler, Eldrazi Scion, Incubator Drone. That's on your left. Tajiri Warcaller, McKinley Slide Runner, and the 5/5 Woodland Wanderer on your right.
Game has definitely slowed down from the first one.
Mm-hmm. Not hard, to be fair. Not hard. Yes, we could have... we'd probably fit 5 or 6 game 1s into game 2 so far. But Paulo is into single figures, and there is a significant threat on the other side of the board in the Ruin Processor. And Tajiri Warcaller, for all it is a very good card, is right now a 2/1. It has 1 toughness, looking at a 7/8 on the other side. So here's Paulo with Wavewing Elemental. 3/4 landfall makes it into a 5/6. That's probably not going to make the game go quicker either.
Paulo not interested in attacking with his 5/5 Vigilance. Amazing what Sludge Crawler and a bunch of untapped mana will do.
Yes. Yeah, because right now, although there are 7 lands, add in the Eldrazi Scion, that's 8.
Well, you can just block with the Eldrazi Scion, too.
Right. Two cards in hand on either side. And what seems to be happening turn after turn is a Ruin Processor comes in.
Ruin Processors is the biggest thing in the board on the either side of the table right now. Woodland Wanderer is getting kind of outclassed.
And the thing for Paulo is that, you know, this could be yet another example of the mighty sort of quad block, or it looks like he's going with the double and saying, do you have something? Or can I trade? Well, that's pretty clear what order Saito's ordering the blockers. And this is just a straight 1-for-1.
Right. Yeah, no trick from Saito, and it's a pretty good trade for Paulo.
Now, you can't know the answer to this, I appreciate, but from your perspective, is this a case of Paulo being forced into saying, if either of those 2 cards are a trick, I'm in desperate trouble? Or is this a case of Paulo having some kind of read that this is my window, despite being tapped out, to trade 1-for-1 here? Royal Mage's trick. Let's give your things -X, -O. I'll draw a card.
I feel like Paulo kind of had to block.
Right.
He took damage. He drew some cards. Best he could come up with was a 3/4 flyer that would enable a double block, which is only a 1-for-1 trade on the surface of it. He didn't even have that until this turn.
Yep.
So I don't think it's a read so much as I can't just keep taking 7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to chump block. All right, another result. Andrew Main has defeated Paul Rietzel.
Well, first of all, hats off, because that's not easy to do.
Exactly. Andrew Main has defeated a Hall of Famer. Paul's first loss in the history of the format. He's now 5-1 lifetime. This is his second booster draft, and he merely put up a 2-1. Andrew Main definitely qualifies for the Pro Tour and almost certainly makes this top 8. He's 5th place. Would take a complete collapse of his tiebreakers here.
Okay.
Another result. I got the confirmation that it was Lucas Duco who was scooped into by Adam Yurchik. Lucas Blohan has lost to, here's a name we haven't heard at the Grand Prix Top 8 tables in quite some time.
Yeah, and by quite some time, you mean decades.
Decades singular. Chris Benefell.
In the early 2000s was the last time?
Chris Benefell.
I think of him as a 90s player.
Nah, he's like an early 2000s player.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, he started in the 90s, but I mean,
Right.
his peak was in the early 2000s.
Fine.
Chris Benefell, yeah, he was a Pro Tour regular, a mainstay.
Oh, totally.
You know, played on the Masters Series.
Lord.
Back in the day. Yeah, Chris Benefell has qualified himself for the Pro Tour.
Well, that's great.
12th place.
Mm.
If I had to bet, I would say he's on the outside looking in, especially because Rietzel lost. He's in the kind of spot where he's the one who needed Rietzel and Pardee to crush some dreams.
Okay. So he's sort of in the 8, 9, 10 range,
Exactly.
or even the 9, 10, 11 range.
8, 9,
maybe.
10.
Okay.
Yeah, wow, Chris Benefell. Dude can still play. Now I'm trying to remember how many Pro Tour top 8s he had. Did he only have the one? He's got at least one Pro Tour top 8. I feel like he might have more than one.
More.
I think it's feels like it should be more than one. Definitely a Pro Tour top 8 competitor.
Now, our turbo match is Jerry Thompson, correct?
Yes.
Which means that the Scott Markison match is not our turbo match, which means we can reveal this piece of information.
They're going to game 3.
So Magnus Lanto is at 1-1 against Scott Markison.
So many matches. Definitely gonna have some 39s miss now that, especially now that Paul Rietzel did not crush dreams.
Okay. So Paulo is going to put McKindy Shield Runner in the way.
Sam Pardee has also lost. So Joe Lavrenz, congratulations, Joe. You're going to the Pro Tour, and you're going to sweat your tiebreakers for the next hour because you're only one spot ahead of Chris Benefell.
Oof.
You're only ahead of Chris Benefell on tiebreak on digit number 3 of opponent's match.
Oh, that's just crazy. Yeah. Meanwhile, Saito is trying to close the deal against Paulo Vida Damo de Rosa. And he is well on the way to doing this, we would think. Sludge Crawler is getting pumped. Paulo is falling down on life. We do have, I guess this is Stone Fury. Stone Fury reaching out to try and kill off the Ruin Processor. Well, that would be a big, big moment in the game if it works. This is a huge deal because that Ruin Processor has been the utterly dominant force in this game. It is continuing to do things. Alamog's Nullifier from Tomoharu Saito counters the Stone Fury.
Wow.
And I think that counters Paulo Vida Damo de Rosa's challenge here at Grand Prix Madison. Because now it's Nullifier, Processor, a gigantic Sludge Crawler, Incubator Drone, and Scion, not terribly relevant, against a 2-1 Tajiri Warcaller, a 3-4 flyer that only gets bigger on attack. And Paulo just had to make that Stone Fury work. Down at 4, all kinds of lethal. On the other side, Saito at 13. I mean, let's just make sure we're not missing a hysterically entertaining Rolling Thunder kill you. Landfall, it's a 5-6 to Tajiri Warcaller. You don't block, you take 8, then I'll deal you 5, put you to dead. But Paulo with 2 cards in hand. Looks like a Tajiri Stalwart. It's going to be a 3/4. It is now 1 card, 4 mana. And he's okay. That's not terrible. Skyline Cascade says you are not going to get to untap next turn. But Saito is busy rehearsing what looks like his version of lethal. Certainly rehearsing an attack.
Bad news for the home crowd. Matt Severa has fallen to Jeremy Dizani.
Right.
Matt Severa, I don't know about you, but I always click on those Ultra Pro links. Here's the team for the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Right? He's one of the guys at the bottom who's unqualified but helping out.
Okay.
He has always helped them test. Team Ultra Pro has always enjoyed having him contributing to the sort of process that has resulted in crushing Pro Tour finishes.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt is not going to pick up a Pro Tour invite this weekend. He picks up his 3rd loss, so have to settle for 3 pro points and some cash. Jeremy Dizani joins the tiebreaker scrum.
Yeah, now that would be, if memory serves, his 9th Grand Prix top 8.
If he makes it.
Yeah, if he did. But in any case, top 8 or no, very much coming into form ahead of the Pro Tour, because he kind of lost his way a little. He went to play other games.
You tell me,
polite.
what happened to him last year?
Yeah.
He didn't even make gold, right? Isn't he silver?
He actually went away. He basically, all his attention, which was focused entirely on Magic, got entirely focused on not Magic. And he came in and he just got beaten because a lot of his success had been on being very single-minded and really putting in the hours. Almost kind of like Brad Nelson the year after Brad became Player of the Year. Brad, wasn't sure where he wanted to go next in life, didn't play as much Magic Online, and it just showed. And Dizani's been in that place, and I asked him yesterday. I said, are you playing a lot of Magic, or are you just kind of still around a little bit because you
using his silver
like
invite,
everyone,
right?
Yeah. And he said, no, I'm playing a lot, and I'm I love Magic, and I'm really into it again. And well, here he is on the verge of a top 8, whether or not he gets in.
Whatever the top 8, he needed the Atlanta invite, right?
I think
he
that's
was
true.
Merely silver last year.
Yeah, because he fell completely from ranked number 1 in the world, of course, right outside the rankings.
I mean, unless he had some other invite to Milwaukee, he's presumably using a silver invite. Wow.
We're done. Tomoharu Saito claims it by 2-0. The Ruin Processor would not die. 7/8 will do that, but there was a couple of key combat steps with the triple block, which got blown out thanks to Royal Mage's trick, and then the second time around when Paulo looked to finish it off with Stone Fury, Saito had the answer, Ulamog's Nullifier, Paulo's Nullifier, and Tomoharu Saito goes to 13-2, joins the scrum.
And welcome back to the Pro Tour.
Absolutely.
He's been on and off for the last couple of years. He's been kind of a Pro Tour occasional, but now he'll be in Atlanta.
Okay. Let's show
Turbo
you.
Magic. Can Jerry Thompson pick up an invite to Atlanta?
Right. We know Graham is in with a win. Thompson have to see on tie breaks. He's kicking off with a Calastria Healer. Worth noting, an unusual land, relatively. Ally Encampment. Haven't seen much of that as he rebuilds with Eyeless Watcher. So we may be seeing plenty of red-hot ally action here. Grove Tender Druid. Down Courier Griffin back the other way from John Graham. He adds to his Air Force with Ghostly Sentinel. 3/3 flying and Vigilance. Smash. Core Entanglers from Jerry Thompson. Let's get rid of those.
Oh, jeez.
Stasis Snare this. Still Smash. And here's a Gideon's Reproach.
I saw, what's that guy, the Beastmaster?
Yeah, Tajiri Beastmaster, 5/5.
Beastmaster come down. I thought Jerry had it, but
+1/+1 to everything.
Multiple responses there.
Yep. Meanwhile, he's still through the air.
And meanwhile, Beastmaster still triggers off any future allies.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one.
Just to solve the question, Glitch 29. Randy can't have spoiled this match because we don't know what happens.
All true.
Just to let you know, whatever you thought you heard, we genuinely have no idea what happened in this match.
I've only talked about 8 other players getting to 39 points.
Right.
There's still 3 matches left to go that are relevant to top 8, including this one.
So Thompson, 3 color. The weird thing about the allies is that he isn't red, which is where you expect plenty of allies to be. See Calastria healer again. Now he's sending absolutely everything because here's Beastmaster, and that is 1-0 to Jerry Thompson. So we go straight into game 2 because we get to do that. I think we saw Scry action from Jerry, so he's probably started off at 6. We see Core Bladewell, so that's a little taste of ally medicine the other way. John Graham gives his allies first strike, and other allies will do the same. Shadow Glider comes down for him. So early advantage to John Graham. Let's see what Thompson's turn 3 plays. Well, it's acceleration in the form of Lifespring Druid, and that'll let John Graham pile in once again for 4 damage, but he doesn't have a follow-up on turn 4. He also appears to be thoroughly mono-white right now. Ghostly Sentinel gets in the way. Well, Gideon's Reproach deals with that, and we are also going to destroy a tapped creature. So continuing to pile in, plenty of flyers on Graham's side. Ghostly Sentinel again. Shadow Glider has been turning sideways. Grove Tender Druids and the single 1/1 Scion on Thompson's side of the board. Can we take a little breath?
And I can tell you that Raphael Levy has joined the scrum at 39 points.
Oh my lord, the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he got paired down against Pierre Deljean. But Pierre wants the 3 pro points that he would have gotten with a win to get to 36 points. Levy had to beat him and did. Levy's breaker is pretty good. I like Raph's chances of being in this top 8.
Ooh. That'll be fun. Here is Jerry piling in with the team. It's not an exceptional team.
You know, there's another top pair down as well, by the way. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You go on.
Yeah, on to game 3 in this match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Su Wang Yim, very similarly, he's paired down against Reed Duke. Reed wants the 3 pro points from 36 points, so he's not going to scoop somebody to top 8. He needs to play. He needs to win.
So we're in the decider. Graham against Thompson. Core Bladewell opposite Lifespring Druid. Here's Shadow Glider on turn 3. Opposite that gets the full impact of Tajuru Stalwart, so that's a 3/4. And that's courtesy of Lifespring Druid. But Stasis Snare is going to take that out, and 4 points are going to come in from John Graham. So Jerry will again use his Lifespring Druid for mana. 5 gets him to Ghostly Sentinel, which is bigger than either of the things on the far side. So, yeah here's a Gideon's Reproach.
I mean, you suspect a trick when John attacks like that, but
that's
you're
fine.
Not going to just not block.
Right. As we see Eyeless Watcher bring down 2 more Scion for Thompson. And that's a 2-for-1 of sorts, as we see Deathless Behemoth come down for John Graham. Now that is very big. 6/6. Quite a lot bigger than anything Jerry has right now. However, here's Eyeless Watcher plus Scion plus Felidar Cub. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, well, anyone for quint blocks? We've seen plenty of quad blocks today. I think that's one of my big takeaways from the weekend for players who are newer or less experienced. I would say go and practice your combat, because you are going to be doing triple blocks and quad blocks and thinking, what trick can they have? How many is a really safe block? There's a lot of that, and you don't see a lot of that in Magic. Even in limited Magic, it's most often a single or a double block. Lots of 3s, lots of 4s.
It's scary to block with a bunch of creatures.
Right.
But you know what? Sometimes they have a 6/6 or an 8/9 or something.
Yep. Very definitely an interesting set of play patterns coming out of BFC.
Clutch of Currents bounced to Scion. And animated a land.
So here's a double and a single. Bit of land destruction, as it were, from Jerry. Core Entanglers, tap down your Deathless Behemoth. Royal Spout. Animate my land. And that is going to put Core Entanglers back up on top. Chump block the Deathless Behemoth, which is not turning sideways because it has Vigilance. Jerry starting to run out of cards, and against quite a hefty board. 4/4 Island, 6/6 Deathless Behemoth, 2/2 Shadow Glider. He doesn't really interact well with any of that. Core Entanglers comes down. Yep, I'm just going to swing in, says John. Block. They both died. John Graham on the verge of the top 8. There's the handshake. John Graham does it. And he is in for sure because he was on 37.
You know what? He's your number 1 seed. He's the only player above 39. Both Rietzel and Party lost.
Wow.
So John Graham gets to be on the play draw choice for however long he keeps playing.
So that was Turbo Magic here in the final round of Battle for Zendikar at Grand Prix Madison.
You know what, though? I think we still have a feature match going.
Oh.
I think we get the 4th match on camera.
How
that
good
never
would that
happens.
Be? No, I know.
Yeah.
We will see what we can do for you. See if we can get you the last match. Now, who would that be?
Magnus Lanto and Scott Markison.
Right, and they were going to Game 3
Last we heard
while
they were in
back.
Game 3. I have not heard a result. I don't think they're done yet. So John Graham is at 40 points. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players on 39 points. But the winner of Markison and Lanta will join them.
Right.
To be the 10th player at 39 points for 7 spots. Oh, by the way, Su Wang Yim is still playing Reed Duke somewhere back in the main tournament area.
Okay, board state of doom here. We've got
good luck.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. Kiora, Master of the Depths with 4 counters on it. Brood Hunter Worm, that's the 4/3. We've got a Tajura Stalwart as a 3/4. We've got a 3/3 Forest. We've got Courier Griffin that's just gained 2 life. We've got, I'm going to come back to that last green one in a minute. We've got Fortified Rampart up at the top. We've got a Mortuary Mire with 3 counters on it. We've got a bit of Claire and oh god, it's the name's on the tip of my tongue. It's the Eldrazi that does. I'll come back to that. 3/3 Ghostly Sentinel with Vigilance. What looks like a Nakana Assassin. All right, okay. I'm down to 2. The green at the top right, and the Eldrazi in the middle on the left.
Wow. More importantly, Magnus Lanto's counting his library. There's only like 7 or 8 cards left by my eyeball count.
Yeah, Ulamog's Despoiler is the middle on the left.
Okay. Lanto's down to 6 life and like 8 cards in his library.
Right. Well, presumably that's because I imagine on a board state like this, Kiora's been around forever.
And in fact, he's still going. Look, he's going to look at like half his library.
Yeah. Let's just have a look at 4 here.
Wow.
And he's found Deathless Behemoth.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to figure out a way to deal 13 damage for the course of the next half dozen turns or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. There is the Despoiler. Kiora untaps some land. And go. How many is it before Kiora's ultimate?
Oh, Kiora wants to get to 8. -8 gives you the emblem. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can have it fight target creature. Then 3/8
That's a Ghostly Sentinel, right? What's stopping the Ghostly Sentinel from attacking? What am I missing? Oh, Dampening Pulse is in play. You missed the Dampening Pulse because it wasn't actually on our board.
Oh.
That means the Ghostly Sentinel is only a 2/3 and the Griffin can hold it off. So Dampening Pulse making Scott Markison's creatures all a little bit smaller.
Okay, I'm in the penalty box feeling shame.
It wasn't even on the mat. I'm not going to hold that one against you. Oh, on result, Reed Duke loses his 3 Pro Point anti-match. Welcome to the Pro Tour, Su Wang Yim. And
who's
welcome
playing
to
next week, by the way?
Yeah, welcome to Pro Tour Atlanta.
Yeah.
Su Wang Yim is joining the scrum. Tiebreakers just below Chris Benefels. Assuming this match ends, we're going to have 11 people for 7 spots.
Yeah, so it went the full distance.
12 people in top 8 contention as they read out the list, and only one of them has actually clinched.
Yeah. Which, amongst all these superstars of the game, you would not have put money on it being John Graham. So congratulations to him.
True story.
And that's nothing against John Graham, who, this is my first interactions with him this weekend, and fantastic job. If you finish first out of 1,820 people, when that's over half the Pro Tour sitting in the room kind of thing, just wonderful. Great job.
So is Magnus Lanto actually going to get to Kiora's ultimate? Is that how this match is going to end?
Well, it's not clear whether that's how it will end. It may be
3
about
cards.
to happen.
3 cards.
But the question is, how many creatures can he have enter the battlefield under his control between now and the end of the game?
He's presumably been saving them.
Right.
I mean, this is how he wins, right?
Don't forget, he only gets 24 power of octopuses each time. Just the 3 8/8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures on board. And of course, yeah. Maybe he gets there with no cards in his library. Maybe it's the lethal attack with no cards.
All right, here's Kiora's ultimate.
All right.
I was involved in sorting all the emblems and tokens. I was bribed with free drafting. There should be a Kiora emblem in a box in the feature match area. I want to see it.
Yes. Get the Kiora emblem right now.
And the octopuses. Octopi?
Oh.
We've got the octopi and the Kiora emblem to go with them.
Okay. Here's a fertile thicket. Let's me look at the top 5, except I haven't got a top 5 to look through.
Only 3. Make a plan.
Yep. So there's at least 1 land in Lanto's hand. I mean, it's lovely to set up the octopus, but you do actually have to make a creature arrive under your control. You can have it fight target creature. Yeah. It will do it. I mean, it will be enough as long as he can trigger it. The thing is, look, he can't have it now, because if he had it right now, surely he would have just gone, do it. Let's have a fight target creature. Right. So the emblem's in play.
Right. Then you get the 3 octopuses, right?
No, only when you cast a creature. It now says whenever a creature enters the battlefield. Now, if he makes a creature, then he'll get 3 octopuses, and then they can fight.
That's not what it says. It's, quote, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may have it fight target creature, end quote.
Yeah.
Then put 8/8.
Yes.
So you get an emblem with, quote, end quote, then put 3 octopuses onto the battlefield. Doesn't he get the 3 octopuses?
We should have a little check on that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, you get the octopuses.
Okay.
The emblem is what causes the fight. You only ever get 3 octopi.
Sorry, guys and girls in the chat room. Unsurprisingly, this is the first time I've seen Kiora's ultimate in action.
I'm not reading it wrong, am I? Which one of us does chat agree with?
Oh, they agree with you.
Yeah.
People like Yamijura is saying that I'm just clearly an idiot. Well, fair enough.
No, I mean, the template isn't, transparent, but the emblem has, quote, 187 fight, end quote. But you get the emblem, period, then put 3 8/8s into play, which then get to fight immediately. This is like the spectacular fight. Like the act of getting the emblem triggers 3 creatures that come into play and get to fight.
Yeah, my only sort of defense here is that in addition to reading the card, which people seem to think is very easy, the world champion of Magic
Lanto agrees
Online
with you.
is also unaware of how his own card works. The one that's going to win him the game and potentially get him into the top 8. So I don't feel like I'm alone.
He even played this land. Like, he didn't put the octopuses into play. He activated it to get the emblem and then got the land. So there's actually kind of a judge call here where, like, is that a triggered ability that he missed?
Oh. Yeah, I absolutely believe you guys at home, and especially I believe Land's delicious. Randy is right, Rich. L2 judge here. Absolutely.
But now what happens, Lanto was also confused, and Lanto has taken an action since not putting the octopi onto the table. Yes. He played a land afterwards, looked at his library. So is that a triggered ability, or did he misplay an activated ability?
So we're hearing that tokens are... Someone says tokens are mandatory, fight isn't. Someone says a GRV has occurred.
Oh, a GRV has clearly occurred.
Right. Someone says, how do you miss the trigger of a Planeswalker
I think
ultimate?
we have the ability to turn up their audio and hear what they're saying, but I don't know which button it is. Oh, there's no audio.
They are, yeah. I think there is a conversation taking place.
Yeah.
So I tell you what we're going to do, because, let's be honest, we can get ourselves into some trouble here, because I clearly can't read, which is, worrying, because normally I thought I'd been getting quite good at that since I was about 3. So meanwhile, while they resolve exactly what's going to happen with those octopuses, let's recap where we are in terms of the standings, who's in, who's in the mix.
All right, we got one player on 40 points. No one can pass him. John Graham will be your number 1 seed. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players that have gotten themselves to 39 points. There's 7 spots in this top 8 available for players on 39 points. So 3 of those guys are going to miss. 7 of them are going to get in. However, the winner of this match will join them. It's actually 7 of 11 who are going to get in, and 4 people are going to miss the top 8 on tiebreakers.
Okay. So
Assuming this match ends with a winner,
yes.
If this match ends in an unintentional draw, then they both miss top 8.
Yeah, a while ago, I think...
They just let him put the land back in his hand due to the confusion.
Okay.
That was Magnus Lanto putting that land back in his hand. It looks like they're going to get to back up to the point where the Kiora ultimate ability was misplayed.
Right.
So, the 39-point players in tiebreaker order coming into the round: Rietzel, Andrew Main, Raph Levy, Sam Pardee, Jeremy Dizani, Joe LaFrenz, Chris Benefel, Su Wang Yim, Tomoharu Saito, Lucas Duco. So of those, if nothing changed on breakers, Duco would miss, Saito would miss, Yim would miss, and assuming we get a winner here, Benefel would fall to the wrong side of the bubble. But we're talking about like 65.6, 67.2, 68.1, 68.8, 69.4. It's close.
Yeah.
Like, they're close enough that they could totally swing.
You may have spotted that our cameraman has gone a little bit wider. That's because now there are indeed 24 power of octopuses. Octopi.
In play?
Yeah. That black bit down the bottom, that's in play.
And do we get to put the fight trigger? Does he get to play the fight trigger, or did he miss that?
I think we don't know, and I think we'll find out when we see whether half the board is missing in just a moment.
Yeah, I saw the match result slip just get picked up, presumably by a judge to write the game rules violation on the back of it.
Yeah, a while back you said, assuming this game ends in a win.
Right.
Well, maybe just assuming this game ends.
Well, I mean, they will get a time extension for the judge call.
Course.
And, I mean, it's not going to last much longer. There's only 3 cards in Magnus Lanto's library. So, I mean, if it went to 5 extra turns right now, Marcuson would not quite have time to deck Lanto, but if they get 1 more turn cycle in, then Lanto's on the hook to get decked.
Magic. Such a simple game.
So Marcuson is thinking. Now Marcuson is now tapping 4 mana, presumably because he needs to respond to... It's got to be the fight triggers on the stack, right? What else would he be responding to here? The Octopi have come into play. Magnus Lanto apparently does get to fight with those Octopi. It's a super sweet ultimate when you play it correctly, right? Sure, it's great that creatures coming into play get to fight things. How about you get 3 8/8 creatures coming into play right now? What would they like to fight?
So Scott Marcuson, who... Right, so he's going to smite the monstrous.
One of them.
One.
And then the other 2 fight down creatures.
Yes.
Now Magnus Lanto can play the land.
Yes. And he still won't get to look at the top 5 because there still aren't 5 to look at.
Just the 3. But does he have an attack? I mean, Marcuson's down to 4 creatures. Does Magnus not have any creatures left in his hand? I don't know how long he's been building up. I mean, we came in...
Kiora was around when we arrived, yeah.
He did play the 1 big Eldrazi since we got here. So he chose to play that before the Kiora emblem went off. Yeah, all right. He's bringing it.
Yes.
Attack with these 7.
Remember I said a little while ago about practicing combat and blocking and... Yeah.
These guys have... Well, Lanto has spectacular tiebreakers. Marcuson will have to sweat.
There is every chance, and looking out to our left towards the main event tables, that this is in fact the last match of the round and of the tournament, apart from the top 8. Not for sure, but
every chance.
They've been going for a while. you'll see one of our players in the top 8 draft live. We'll then record a second drafter to play that back while the players build pre-quarterfinal, and then it'll be bang, 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 quarters, semi, and final, back to back to back, as we head into the evening here at Grand Prix Madison, the hors d'oeuvre before the main event of Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar next week.
All right, Markinson survives that attack step on 2 life.
Planar Outburst.
Draws a card.
Go on, I dare you.
Is it? If it's Planar Outburst, he goes to the top 8. It's not Planar Outburst.
There's still land creatures on the other side, or a land creature.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
Smite something huge. Get rid of amongst the spoiler. Let's try this again.
Wow.
Smash.
Magnus Lanto, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you, Magnus, for that fascinating walk through the delights of the bottom there. That is Magnus Lanto getting to 39 points, and that will do a pretty intriguing last round here at Grand Prix Madison.